I'm Colleen. I'm Colleen Hollistel, I should say. I'm the executive director of the Bluffs here in Columbia, Missouri. It's a senior living community for older adults, and we specialize in long term skilled care, memory care, and rehabilitation.
What is like your degrees? Like, what kind of degrees did you get to get this position?
So I have an undergraduate degree in HDFS, which is Human Development and Family Sciences, with an emphasis in adulthood and aging. And I have the same master's degree, but it's just a general human development degree. But my emphasis area is in adulthood and aging.
Okay. And then what traits do you kind of envision when you think about a good leader?
That's hard to say. I think a lot about styles, and I think that leaders don't just go around telling people what to do or overseeing people's work. I think that if you're a true leader, you develop other leaders, and so you give people the skills to come up with new ideas and to change and to make great things happen. So I think that would be so really some qualities or some traits would be being able to inspire others, show them the way. Um, I think I already said inspire, but guide people to be creative, lifelong learners, and contemporary thinkers to really be a great leader.
What are some techniques that you use to get your team to work together?
So I have very high standards and high expectations, and so I try to always have a high bar, but treat people fairly. So it's important to me that people aren't perfect, but that they're engaged in improving and engaged in creative processes to.
It's more orientation now.
No, I don't know where it is. I'm really sorry. Sorry.
We can take that part out.
I kind of like it.
I don't know where orientation is. I'm surprised it's not in here, actually. So what were we talking about? Oh, to get the team to work together.
Yeah.
So I try to. The biggest thing that happens is that people are afraid to speak up or they're afraid to share their ideas. So I try to create a safe environment. Our biggest teamwork meeting every day is our interdisciplinary team meeting. And we meet with all the department heads: housekeeping, maintenance, nursing, social services, finance, HR, therapy, and we talk about the big salient issues in our building that day. And then we break off at different times throughout the week into smaller groups focused on certain projects. But if I notice that some people aren't sharing their ideas, or they come back to me later in the day and they say, I wanted to tell you this, and it's related to what we had talked about at the meeting, I try to get to what the root of people not sharing is, because oftentimes that means there's some kind of interpersonal issues underground that I'm not privy to in a public setting. So I try to make it a safe place for people to share. I try to never discount people's ideas or always respect their perspective, because they have a unique set of ideas coming from whatever discipline they're in. And then if there are issues that prevent people from feeling like it's a safe space, I try and help them resolve those interpersonal issues. So that's really, most people are willing to work as a team if they don't have some sort of fear that people are going to be mean to them or judge their ideas. So I try to always create a safe space for teamwork.
Okay. And then also, like you said, the teamwork and creating a safe environment. When you first became an administrator here at the Bluffs, how did you go about instilling that into your team?
It was kind of tricky because the previous administrator had a lot of really great qualities, but some people felt like either this was true or not true. That's not my call. But some people felt as though their voice wasn't heard, or it wasn't valuable, or that some people had more influence in decision-making process than they did. So, and it was people who were equals. They were all department heads. So I can tell when people have something they want to say and they just won't say it. So I usually say, you look like you've got something to share or something to add to this conversation. always, when I make a decision, I articulate to the team what some of the considerations I had were. So even if we didn't make a decision that favored one department more than another, they would at least hear the reason that we did make that decision. So, but I think it also helps just to, I didn't really come in guns blazing. So I just kind of let people settle in, and we didn't make any big decisions as a group. We just kind of let the dust settle and reconform as a new team, because there were some other changes around that time. So I think it helps to, I try to stay positive and outgoing and show a lot of appreciation. I'm kind of losing track of what I was talking about in the first place, but that's not unusual for me. Oh, getting the team to work together. Yes. So making it a safe space, getting people to share their ideas who hadn't shared before. Oh, and then, yes, so the whole point of all of this is that really when people don't see it as such, sometimes they get wrapped up into what's most beneficial to their department or to their goal. But really, when it comes down to it, everyone has the same goal. And so if you help a team identify what the mission and the vision are, it helps them to be willing to work together and kind of break down silos that can come up between departments. And really, that probably going back to our mission, vision, and values of our organization and just reminding people of that. And, okay, we're talking about this right now. What would we do based on our mission, vision, and values? That really helps people realize that we're all in this for the same reasons. And it makes it easier. They don't have to feel like compromising is defeat. So, I don't know if that answered your question.
Caitlin said that you kind of liven up the environment too. She brought up how you dress up in costumes and things like that.
Yes. So, I call it creative or unorthodox leadership style. So I liken myself to Jimmy Fallon. So I try to, one of the things so we have these goals that we're working on every year. And this is the first year that we're really tackling recruitment and retention, staff morale, in new and unusual ways. So we don't look at nursing home culture, because that's what our industry is. We're looking outside of our industry to see what people do to really have creative leadership and creative ways to enhance morale of their organization, because people spend a third of their life and really half of their waking time at their job. So you want to make it a place that they like to come to and they can have a voice and have autonomy. So anyway, this year is the first year we're really focusing on recruitment, retention, morale, the culture of our organization. So to do that, we have a lot of really creative things that we do with our staff. Like we have a picnic, we have an annual holiday party. There's a lot of costumes. I almost need a costume closet at this point. So one day I came dressed up as Bigfoot, and because I said, what was my reason for it? It was really hilarious, because a nursing home that people want to work at is as rare as a Bigfoot sighting. So that was my point. So let's see, I dressed up as Mrs. Claus. Oh, I dress up as the Easter Bunny every year, just to let the residents think it's funny and the staff thinks it's funny. But we have special events where families, the staff can bring their kids in and the residents can bring their kids and grandkids in, or their, I guess, grandkids and great-grandkids, for pictures with the Easter Bunny. And then recently I did, do you guys watch Jimmy Fallon?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the Dancing Panda hashtag. We
That's
have
what it
the same costume. It was only $35 at Amazon.com. And so we have hashtag the Dancing Panda. And for Valentine's Day, you could send, instead of like a singing telegram, you could send carnations to your Valentine, or you could send a dancing panda. And so we have this big boom box, and it's like a party speaker, and it goes to picnics and whatever we do. but it syncs with your phone, and so the dancing panda, people spent $2 to get the dancing panda, and it went